Yeah,
So,
someday.
right.
I hear you.
All right. So, here. Your son. Good. Good. All right. So, all right. Hey, I am Jay Wendell with Rock Rage Radio, and I am here with Ron of Ronzworld Guitars. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Well, now that I'm finally here, based on the traffic, I'm very, very happy. So, I was looking up a little bit about you and everything. What made you decide that you wanted to get into customizing guitars in the first place, as far as paint jobs, everything like that? What drove you to that?
Well, basically, I mean, I've been an artist, I'd like to say, my entire life.
Right.
I started out in advertising.
Okay.
All right, and I've always had an affliction for guitars. I mean, I've loved the instruments. I played as a kid.
Right.
You know, I was never a fan of the off-the-shelf look.
Right.
You know, growing up, you know, listening to music in the 80s and 90s, you know, you've got a lot of these bands that came out, you know, the classically painted guitars in the 80s.
Right.
And I thought it was cool how those guitars kind of reflected those musicians.
Right.
You know, you got Eddie Van Halen. You know, I mean, these guys that come out, Eric Clapton's the Fool.
Well,
you know,
I mean, even if you look at Zach Wilde,
Exactly.
you see the bullseye,
it just,
you know
it
him.
It's Zach. You know
it's
what I
him.
mean? It
right.
represents Zach. You know, and then you see, I mean, I'm not digging on anybody, you know, but I mean, like, you know, Slash plays like gold top Les Paul.
Right.
But to me, that just doesn't embody Slash.
Right.
You know,
it's a nice guitar, but it doesn't personify anything.
Guitar,
right.
But it doesn't. I don't feel that. You know
right.
what I mean? So it's, you know, when I had an opportunity, you know, literally just laying around one day, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder how this would look if I did this.
Right.
You know, so it just, for me, it creates something that I try to make it. It's custom. It's different.
Right.
And it reflects, you know, the person either playing it or, in this case, the festival. That
right.
I'm at.
So, here's a question for you. What is your favorite guitar? Your personal favorite design of a guitar?
Gibson Explorer.
Gibson Explorer?
First guitar I ever owned, so yeah, it's a...
You know, it's always a mixed opinion I hear about Explorers, because people either love Explorers or they hate them.
Same thing with the Vs.
Very true.
Yep.
Same thing with the Vs. Honestly, same thing with Les Pauls, too. People don't necessarily like, but...
yeah.
So, now do you primarily work with Gibsons, or do you just
do
whatever
what?
work?
I have not worked with Gibson yet.
You
Gibson's
really?
Probably the only brand I have not worked with. Yeah. How ironic is that? You know?
Yeah, you need to get on that.
I know, and I mean, you know, it's funny because like, you know, the question is, you know, what was my all-time favorite? Because it was the first.
Right.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. If you ask me that nowadays, I mean, I've worked with some crazy cool brands. I mean, PRS makes a gorgeous instrument, and I mean, it's just an ultimate canvas for me.
Right.
We're doing Deans this week, and I mean, those things are ridiculous. The times.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, at this stage in my career aspect, I like a guitar that I have enough canvas to work with. You know, the V's kind of restrict me.
Right.
You know, there's not a lot to do there.
There's not a lot of body for it.
There's not a lot of body. The
Right.
Explorer has a nice big body to
Right.
it. You know, so that's, I kind of put my attention more towards the size of the canvas I can do.
Right.
You know, but the Les Paul, I can do a lot with a Les Paul. I've got one, you know, Les Paul shaped Dean here today, and it looks pretty cool.
So, in that case, then, what is your favorite guitar to work on?
Probably the Deans.
Deans?
For the sheer size of them.
Right.
You know, they're so cool. You know, I mean, they're monsters. You know, and I mean, it's just so impressive when you see that.
Right.
You know, it stands out of the crowd. You know, that's really what I'm going for. I want to make something different.
Right.
You know.
So, what is your favorite guitar that you have actually customized at this point?
Favorite one that I've customized. It's probably the we did the Mustaines last year.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and met Mustaine with them. So I mean that was pretty badass. So that probably, I think that was probably the highlight so far.
Awesome. So yeah, I love Megadeth. I always have. It's one of those things of, like, I know people are kind of mixed opinion and everything like that, but every time I see them, he brings it. And he's spot on every time.
Every time.
So
know, I mean, it's impressive.
Right.
You know, I mean, and to finally get to meet him, the Dean guys were cool enough that, you know, they brought him back and he signed all of them.
Oh,
you know,
fantastic.
So, I mean, just that whole experience, and I mean, they were, you know, the Mustangs, they're huge, they're big guitars.
Right.
You know, so I did a couple of V's for him, and then a couple of the Explorer shaped, and I mean, it was the coolest thing. Yeah.
So, if you could design a guitar for anybody that you have not done so for at this point, who would it be?
Well, I probably have to go old school on it, and but that was my first thing. I said, when I paint guitars, how cool would it be to paint a guitar for Eddie Van Halen? I mean, I'm a huge Eddie Van Halen fan, so if I could customize, although he's got the stripe thing going on,
right?
If I could customize a guitar,
that doesn't mean that you can't put your own twist on
that's
it.
Exactly. That doesn't mean he might not appreciate it,
right?
You know, but I have to go Eddie Van Halen. I mean, you know, nowadays there's so many cool Zach.
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't want to work with Zach Wild?
Right.
You know, I mean, I got to meet him at one of the festivals, and he's just the coolest guy in the world.
He is one of the most. The last time I had a chance to meet him, the conversation ended with, "Hold on, I got to go talk to somebody about anal bleaching," which is a very Zach Wild thing to
Totally
do.
Zach Wild. Yep. When we met him on Shiprock.
Oh, okay.
Shiprock cruise.
Yeah.
And I had a PRS that I painted, and it had like a sinister clown
Okay.
head on it, right? I mean, it was really, really detailed.
Right.
So the guitar was on the table, and he came by and he says to me, he goes, "Did you paint that?" I said, "I did." He goes, "Fucking awesome." He goes, "You see the movie It?" For the next 30 minutes, we talked about Stephen King's movie It. And everybody's standing around going, "What's he doing?" Man?
Right.
Like, talking movies.
Oh, he's one of the most down to earth dudes I have
He's
ever
so
met.
cool.
So, what were all your plans here this weekend? I'm assuming you're going to be here all 3 days.
All 3 days, yep.
Okay.
I usually when I come out, and I will today, tomorrow, and Sunday, I'll paint a guitar live here.
Okay.
You know, ironically enough, my schedule is so booked up with back-to-back weekends doing this, which is awesome.
Right.
So I'm actually working on a guitar that I need to bring to a festival in a couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
So usually I just do them for fun to show the fans how it works.
Actually, I'd love for either myself or one of the other folks that because we have Hillary and Christy that are here with me this weekend. If one of us could possibly get out over there and actually, because I'd love to see her work, and so
absolutely, man. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's it's funny because I tried to bring in, I forgot at first, but bring in a little more of that advertising experience.
Right.
So what we do is, we work a lot with the Danny Limit festivals,
right?
To where we're the official festival guitar.
Okay.
So I try to get an engagement aspect to it. So what we do is we raffle off. So technically, I'm giving away 3 guitars.
Right.
One a night. And it gets the fans involved. I've got, brand ambassadors walking around with them, so they take pictures and they do social posts. And it's just a very cool engagement as opposed to just sitting in a booth holding up a guitar,
Well, honestly, too, I mean, I'll end up being at a couple other festivals this year, too. I know at Louder Than Life, at the very least, I'll be at
awesome,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yep,
But honestly, what I'd love to do, honestly, is if we could get people from Rock Rage that are covering the fest, if we could actually just sort of see what you're working on at any given point, just because honestly it'd be a lot of fun just to sort of see what's new, what you.
Yep. We've got as far as it's back to back. I'm doing 2 country festivals next. I've got Daytona 500. Our Country 500 at Daytona Speedway.
Right.
And then we're going down to Carolina for Carolina Country Music Jam. But we've already booked Incarceration. We'll be there. We'll be in Rock USA in Oshkosh, as well as Rock Fest in Paddock.
We are literally at every last one of those.
Is that right? Awesome.
Not me necessarily, because I can only travel so much. I got 2 kids, so
I've got 4. Trust me, sorry.
And their daughter's going into teenage years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't envy you, dude.
No, dude, it's awful.
It's awful.
It's awful. So how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing the guitar circuit, I'll call it, this is my 2nd season.
Okay.
So I've been painting guitars for a little bit longer than that, but again, I've been advertising Illustrator my entire life.
Right, just so happened that you found something that really, really clicked with you.
And it literally just fell into place.
Right.
I was down in Florida.
Okay.
Living in Florida for a couple of years, and just picked up a guitar, started painting it, had 5 or 6 of them laying around. I'm like, you know what? Let's go to one of these NAMM shows. You never know.
Right.
That was it, man.
One of these days, I want to make it to NAMM at some point.
Winter NAMM, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So now, do you do exclusively electric, or do you do acoustics at all?
Well, I'm
for the country
here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of acoustic?
They're, I believe the ones I have here, Epiphones or Takamimi's.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That I almost felt it was. I saw somebody with a video of somebody painting a guitar actually not too long ago. It was nice artwork and everything, but it was I think it was like a 1950s Martin. It's like, oh,
who paints a 1950s?
Right?
No,
who does that?
I don't paint those.
I mean, at that point, it's like, why would you? Why would you do
that? Why would you do that? Yeah, no, those don't get painted.
No.
I wouldn't mind owning it, but I would not.
Oh,
paint
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, sometimes people ask that. It's like, well, what would you not paint? Probably an old Martin. I don't think I'd be painting gold top Les Pauls, but and they say, do you do any other instruments?
Right.
I have a baby grand piano, and I tell you, I swear to God, every time I walk that piano, I'm like,
that's a lot of canvas to work with.
A lot of canvas, but I go look at that, and of course, everybody in my house, like, don't touch the piano. I'm like, oh, come on.
You know,
calling my name.
one day they're gonna come home and
One day they're coming home, the piano won't be there. It'll be down in the basement.
Right.
Taken apart.
So now you're gonna get a chance to see any of the bands playing.
Yeah, I'll check out a couple of them. I mean, Alice I'm a big fan of
Oh
Alice.
yeah,
I gotta see those guys.
always loved Jerry Cantrell. So you know, I mean, come on now, you know. So
I mean, you can't not love Jerry Cantrell. You know,
right.
It's we just came back from Northern Invasion too, and it's the Stone Temple Pilots. I
right.
mean,
I haven't had a
seen Weiland, but
right. I saw them with Weiland. It was a rough show to watch.
Yeah.
And it obviously all the documented drug issues, everything like that. I saw them with Chester. I have not seen them with their new singer, and I'm
ridiculous.
And I'm looking forward to that. I mean,
yeah.
it's amazing how that can kind of bring back some of the music too, because Stone Temple Pilots past a certain point didn't sound like Stone Temple Pilots anymore. Scott changed too much in what he was doing and everything.
They got away from the roots.
Right. I mean, like even if they played like one of their old songs off of Purple or anything like that, it never sounded quite the same.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, obviously you want bands to evolve and everything, but it was more. It kind of devolved to a point, which was unfortunate.
It got sad.
Yeah.
While, but I mean, I love seeing these things. It's like it's to me again. I'm a little older, so I mean, my generation's from the '80s and '90s, so
right.
like Ozzy.
Right.
I mean, and then he's got Zach with him. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean,
yeah, I got to see. Actually, Louder Than Lights last year. Zach was Zach was playing.
We were down in Rockville.
Yeah.
So he had that, and then I mean, Jesus, Foo Fighters.
Right.
I mean, that was on my bucket list. I
right.
mean, I could watch David Grohl and Terrell Hawkins just play like nursery rhymes. And I'd be happy as a clown.
They're a bucket list band for me. I've actually,
awesome.
I've seen so many bands and so many bands multiple times. I've never seen Foo Fighters.
That was my first time seeing it too.
So,
as soon as he hits the stage, it's like you just know it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
They bring it, totally bring it.
So anybody else you're looking forward to this weekend?
I mean, all of them. I like. Yeah, no, I actually, I mean, the headliners are great.
Right.
I mean, I've seen a lot of them doing this
right.
stuff. I love like the third stage bands. All of a sudden these guys take the stage, it's like, and they're hungry for it.
Honestly, a couple
the greatest acts.
A couple, if you haven't seen, let's see, Them Evils. They're fantastic.
Them Evils, yep.
Joyous Wolf. And I caught Joyous Wolf for the first time. So they were unsigned at Loud. They were the only unsigned band at Louder Than Life this last year, and they got signed shortly after that. So unsurprisingly, they're good. Yeah. Although I think they got kicked out of one of the festivals because their singer climbed up the scaffolding. Yeah.
So. Yep. I mean, we saw last year. I mean, we had the fortunate position of being right next to the third stage at Rebellion with Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Destroyed it. I mean, everyone was like, "Who the hell?" I mean, that was amazing. So I love watching that. Ice-T.
It's one of those things. It still confuses people if they don't know about it. It just throws people. Well, and understandably so. I mean, it's one of those. They expect to. I don't think anybody really ever expected Ice-T to be doing metal, but hey, it works.
The fans love it.
Yep.
I mean, it works. I mean, it's funny because some of the signings you see them doing, people asking Law and Order questions. It's like, dude, come on.
Right.
It's like, really?
Right. So best way to find you. I mean, obviously, I've been to your website, everything. I like Facebook and stuff like that. I'm assuming you're on Instagram. I would hope.
Heavy Instagram.
Yeah, I would imagine so, considering the nature of it. So,
heavy Instagram.
Right. Any cool projects coming up?
I mean, basically, I'm dedicated festivals right through the fall.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the Incarceration because it's the first one.
Right.
We've got also these mini festival guitars now we've been working with.
I am excited that they're Incarceration's kind of the first one.
Yeah.
It's they kind of restructured and everything like that, but I'm pretty excited to see how all that goes too, because honestly, it looks like it's running a lot smoother than it had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in contact with the people there. I mean, it seems like they've got it going on, and the venue's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's such a cool thing. Plus, they actually let you walk around the prison and everything like that. I know Motograder shot a video during last year. Yeah. Yep. So I mean, it's just a cool atmosphere.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
I mean, I'm psyched to go back to Wisconsin too. We always had a great time in Wisconsin. The fans up there are insane.
I want to make it up to that at some point this year. I was hoping to, but I'm in the middle of the move and the timing's just really bad. So.
And I mean, even the coming up the fall. I mean, it's one of the things I actually could say the highlight of the fall is doing the Louisville shows, Bourbon and Beyond, and then Louder Than Life back to back like that, because we stay there.
Right.
So I get time to relax a bit and enjoy the town.
Right.
But I mean, Bourbon and Beyond, the lineup. I mean, he's got Lenny Kravitz, Plant,
Right.
Robert Plant, John Mayer.
Right.
I mean, that's just it's such a cool, slightly different genre, and then Louder follows it. You
Right.
know? I mean, it's just a great time.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming over.
I appreciate having me.
I can't wait to actually get. I'm gonna end up putting up some footage too of guitar you're working on, and everything like that. So, honestly, once I get some time, I'm gonna pop on over there. When are you actually? So when are you specifically painting?
Well, I'm going to be painting one of the guitars for the Daytona 500, Country 500.
Okay.
So it's an acoustic.
Okay.
So I don't know what I'm putting on it yet. We'll see what happens when I grab that brush. You know.
All right. All right. Fantastic, man. Hey, it was wonderful meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.